Who's dropping truth? Monday nights, Mike on fire. Shane, Adrian, Jim Norcross, Beard Gang Rise. Let's go! Bears of wrestling. Bears of wrestling. Bears of wrestling. Bears of wrestling. Monday night. Oh, and we dance it. And we dance it. And we dance it. Bears of wrestling. Bears of wrestling. Bears of wrestling. Bears of wrestling. Monday night. Oh, and we dance it. And we dance it. And we dance it. Who's got the bears? 3 beards. Every Monday we rise. Beards lock, take sharp. Wrestling alive, bring to the stream. We break it precise. 3 beards of wrestling ignite. Monday night, Shane call the shots. Voice cuts like a sharp promo blade. Adrian bring the heat. Build momentum, never fade. Jim Norcross lay facts deep. Knowledge hits the mark. 3 bearded vets slice through raw. Smackdown AU dog. Live streams blade. Facebook, Insta, YouTube live feed. Mark Met steps in. Dungeon coach dropping creed. Rob Noxious rolls up. Indie fire from the PA scene. Old school stories hit hard. Legacy clean. 3 bears of wrestling. Bears of wrestling. Bears of wrestling. Bears of wrestling. Monday night. Oh, and we pass it. And we pass it. And we pass it. New logo sharp, fresh look, but the passion stays raw. Shenanigans subtle. Chaos we draw, botch calls crisp, no slack on the slip or the miss. Storylines carved, feuds we analyze. Dismiss, open car rings, fans stepping, bring your fire, passion fuel the grind, lift us higher, mean your rumors drop, we chase every angle tight. Beards hold the crown, kings under the light. 3 bears of wrestling, bears of wrestling, bears of wrestling, bears of wrestling. Monday night, no, am I dressing? Am I dressing? Am I dressing? Beyond the ropes, life, real talk, shadows that creep. Guess bring wisdom, Mark Mess, Rob Noxious deep. Netflix, raw surge, we ride it with force. Beards grow timeless, legacy on course. 7 p.m. sharp, follow, catch the spark. 3 bearded voices, light up the dark. Fans stay true, grateful for the honest take. 3 beards of wrestling, the real, no fake.
Welcome everybody to 3 Beards of Wrestling podcast.
Yes,
I forgot to add Jim on there, but
yeah,
welcome.
that is terrible. That is absolutely terrible.
We have a I would say a different side of the podcast tonight. We're a little more serious tonight with our guests. We have a lot of them tonight. We have me, Mark Mess. We have Rob Noxious. We have Adrian Bliss. We're supposed to have Malcolm King and Dexter Bates back again with this week, where we are going to talk about mental health and all the good stuff. But first, before we bring everyone on,
hold up. I would like to give everybody a quick introduction. Everybody on the screen.
Okay.
I can do that. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know we are back. It is me, Adrian, aka Bro No Femi. Next to me is the 4-eyed fingler, Mr. Jim Norcross, and next to me is the ultimate champion himself, Snacky Chan, Shane Sanchez. Let's go.
Tremendous.
That's why you're dropping a belt this weekend. Anyways,
It's not happening.
Sorry to cover you up, Adrian, but since you weren't here last week, it's pretty fitting. If you want to be a professional wrestler, a manager, a valet, a referee, a bootlacer, a timekeeper, anything in the wrestling business, and I see Mark on the screen laughing.
I can't see nothing behind the sign.
But hit up the Fort Noxious Wrestling School if you are in the Central PA area. There is also Workers Pro Wrestling held at the Dungeon. That the head trainer is Jason Havoc. So if you are in the area, hit up one of the schools, get your guys' tryouts in. Coming up this weekend, I don't even have the poster up.
How you going?
This weekend, Seven Mountains makes their debut in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Yes, this weekend. So if you're in the Carlisle area, Harrisburg, Mechanicsburg, Camp Hill, any of the areas,
you can get out and you can see your Seven Mountains heavyweight champion Shango. That's what you can see this Saturday. And for those of you, if you've never been to this particular building in Carlisle, the parking lot is behind it. It's on the main road, but there is a huge parking lot behind it that's part of the building.
I'm glad you told me that because I would have just parked anywhere. Next up on our agenda is May 2nd. CCW returns to Lebanon, Pennsylvania, in the Eagles Hall, where myself and TJ Reno take on Rob Noxious and Ty Reno in a slaughterhouse match. Slaughterhouse match.
A belt involved in that match.
Probably. There's probably going to be a lot of things involved in this match. Is probably going to be a lot. Next up, following that is May 16th. That's the weekend after, I'm pretty sure, right? Yes. The following weekend, if you are a car person or you like professional wrestling or you like both, May 16th, we have a car show at Steelton High School, 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. If you're going to enter your car, it's a $25 entry fee, and then top prizes for the best vehicle. And then later that night at 4 p.m., doors will open for the professional wrestling show at the same building. And our guest is former NXT superstar Lance Anoa'i. Next up after that, the following weekend, damn it! May 23rd, PPCW returns to York, Pennsylvania. Doors open at 5:30. Bell time is 6. And the same night, Workers Pro Wrestling returns to Ringing Rock Roller Rink. Bell time is, doors open at 5. Bell time is 6 p.m. So if anyone needs tickets to any of these great shows coming up in the next couple weeks, please reach out to any of us that will be on here on the podcast tonight or any of the promotions Facebook pages and reserve your tickets, pay for your tickets. Shit, order my merch while you're there. But if you guys need it, Adrian, you don't have merch, so just kidding. I do have your shirt, and I did wear it last weekend.
Good, thank you. I appreciate it.
And I ripped it off. But I can't wear a jobber shirt.
Then why do you wear yours?
I don't actually. I wear this one. This is collar and elbow, so I don't wear my shirt.
Oh, that makes sense.
Because I'm sold out, unlike you. Anyways,
well, I don't have it left, so that means I'm sold out, you bastard.
So while we're waiting for everyone else to get on, we will bring on who's on already, and we'll kind of get this ball starting and talk about mental health. And I see Yo-Yo Ma, Jamal just entered. So let's bring on who we got so far. Welcome, me, Mark Mest, and Malcolm King, a.k.a. Jamal. As we are waiting for our other people to get on, what is up, everybody?
Not much. How you guys doing?
We're doing great.
I'm a little overweight, but I'm doing good.
A little.
Hey, aren't we all? Aren't we all just like, we're always packing a little extra, it just,
Yeah.
I prefer to be
it's our
considered
winter
under
weight. We're
tall.
trying to shed it off.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm under tall, not overweight.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like that. You're under tall.
I'm big boned.
I want to know why.
Big boned. Yes.
Yeah.
I want to know why Shane got two mascots.
He got two mascots.
Yeah, one white panda, one gangster panda.
What the hell is a gangster panda?
You.
That would be
I'm a
you.
gang. First of all, sir, those charges never stuck. All right, so I don't know where you got any of that. All right, so I don't, you know, I'm legally not allowed to talk about it. But how you doing, McGilla?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. And you know, like if I don't greet you like that, and we don't talk trash
Something's
to
wrong.
each other, something's wrong, bro.
Something's wrong.
Something's
Something's wrong.
definitely wrong.
I know walking into a show, I know when Jamal's there because the first thing I hear is darkness. I'm like,
You know, like it is crazy that like we talk crazy to each other, but like we know that's how we know we all right.
You know,
It-
I think that's a really good point to make right there. Is that type of camaraderie? You know, speaking of good mental health, I know personally, I'm so excited for Saturday just to be in the locker room. You know, just to be around the boys and just having these conversations and these little remarks. I think I think it's so wonderful to have that relationship with everybody.
absolutely. Like if people read the comments that we all make toward each other back and forth, they'd be like, why do y'all hate each other? Like, what is wrong with y'all? Like, there's something really wrong with y'all.
Yeah.
I let somebody glimpse at the transcript just between me and Shane, and it was like, did he shoot somebody? Like, did you do something wrong to him or something? Because this is just this is evil. It's like, no, it's
Yeah.
just Monday.
I seem to recall there was a 2x4 incident or something like that. Like,
No, it was a one-way sign, but we don't talk about it.
Oh, gotcha.
Anyways, so welcome, Rob Noxious, everybody.
Yes.
Welcome, Rob.
So we're here to talk about mental health, something that's not talked about enough, especially in professional wrestling. Who wants to lead it off? Who's more crazier?
That'd be Rob.
I will tip my hat in that direction. Go ahead.
I'm not crazy, guys. The world is.
Yeah, the voices say he's saying.
So, you know, it's crazy that we're having this because over the past weekend, like I was supposed to go down to Shane's and I was like, I'm not going because I was like from Thursday to Saturday, I was fighting demons, like it was crazy. Like I was like, like I couldn't get out of my head. I just kept thinking, like I would come to training, everything would be cool. Then as soon as I got in my truck, go home, it was like, all right, now you're going to go home and blow your fucking brains out. And this was like for the past couple of days. And I was like, I said to Shane, I said, I'm not right in my brain. I don't know if I'm coming to your house. And he was like, nah, just come down, see the babies. Babies will get your mind off of everything. Which of course they did. But the fact that, like I've went months without any of these stupid fucking thoughts. But then this past week, I don't know what happened, what triggered it, but it was just really bad last week. And, it's like, people are like, there's some people that say there are no voices in people's heads, but that's bullshit. That's complete bullshit. Do we get the right help, and I think the biggest thing with men is we don't discuss it much with men because we think that we're going to be looked at like we're weaker than most men because, we're not supposed to talk about it. Guys from my age and Mark's age and Jim's age, and maybe Shango even, or Jamal as well. We were taught that, suck it up. You're a guy. You're not supposed to cry.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be weak, but there's a difference in being fucking crying because you don't want to hurt your family and you don't want to hurt somebody else, compared to being like crying over fucking getting cut or smacking your hand with a hammer and crying over that type of shit. There's a difference when you're shedding tears because you don't want to hurt the people you love. You know what I mean? And I think, with men having mental illness and men dealing with it and knowing that there's ways, and everyone's like, oh, I don't want to take pills, I don't want to do that. But I'm telling you, if it wasn't for the medication I'm on now, I'd be in jail. And it's not because I want to harm people. It's just that there is something in my body that's chemically imbalanced that's making me fucking nuts. And with the drugs that I take, they're prescribed drugs, not like, recreational drugs or anything. I'm prescribed medication, which makes me not do the things that I want to do sometimes. And I think we all should be seen by a doctor or a therapist or somebody, who can help you if there's something wrong with you and you're struggling. You know what I mean? Like, and in wrestling, there's a lot of people that get messed up from wrestling, because our brains are constantly being shook around in our skull, from basic learning how to take a basic bump. Your brain is fucking being shook inside your head, smashing against your skull. Whether you hit your head or you don't hit your head and you bump properly, your brain is still being shook. So that's how I think a lot of guys in professional wrestling end up with some kind of mental illness, because their brain gets messed up wrestling. But some of us are born with it, and I was lucky enough to be born with, mine was hereditary, of course. So, but yeah, there you go. There's my craziness.
I just first want to say thanks to you, to come out here and just to throw that out there and be the first one to do it on this program like that. Dude, that takes a lot. And I know I'm sure I can speak for all of us and everyone watching when I say we really appreciate that level of openness and everything, because that's going to help somebody. Like, bottom line, it's going to help somebody.
I always try. I've had too many of my friends commit suicide, from wrestling, in the wrestling business, to outside of the wrestling business. So if I can help one person, I'm happy to do that. But I don't. The way I feel, I wouldn't want nobody to feel this way inside. So that's why I openly discuss it, because I think, I'm not going to pat myself on the back, but I think that I affect a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like, from the wrestling standpoint, whether you like me or whether you think I'm a piece of shit, it doesn't matter. I still affected you in some way. And I think that if I can be open about it and say something, then maybe it'll help somebody else, So.
So okay. So I'm everybody's been in the car with me, and I've stayed at their house, or like we stayed somewhere together, and you know how I am. So for the longest time, like, I had issues, and it was one time we was on the road, and I had my sleep apnea machine, and like I was like breathing real hard, like trying to catch my breath and everything. And Rob was like, do we need to plug that in? Because I got a plug for it, so that so you can breathe. And like he like I never told anybody anything that was going on with me, but like I end up like telling them everything. And he was like, you need to, take the medicine, because I don't like taking pills. Like, we literally just talked about this today.
Today.
I literally told him, I was like, I hate taking pills, because the medicine that I was prescribed, I felt like I was drinking whiskey like 24/7. Like, it's just, So, long story short, when I was 15, not even 15, I was like 12, 13 years old, um, my cousin committed suicide in front of me. And it wasn't like it just like boom, she shot herself. It was, she tried to stab herself. We got the knife away from her, and then she got her, father's gun, got the gun away from her. And then, it was me. It was either she was going to shoot me or shoot my brothers and sisters in the other room, and I kept her in the room with me. and was going to have her shoot me first before she killed herself. And I like every day. I'll never forget that. Like I don't like my brain. Everything that happened will never go away. But like I don't talk about it a lot because like I try to keep my. I'm a very private person. Nobody knows anything. Nobody. Only one, two, three, four people on here know anything about me, and like only one really knows everything. And like it's just I try to keep to myself, but like if I talk about it, like it makes me feel better. It makes me understand that like I could talk about it because I was raised like you said. You're a man. You gotta
Yep.
keep your emotions to yourself and work through it, power through it. Because if you don't, everybody's gonna think you're soft. So I just always kept it, kept it like that. But like at the end of the day, I'm happy to talk to all of y'all about me with my situations. Like everyone says, well, why are you the way you are? Now everybody knows. Like I'm the way I am because
Yeah.
like I have a traumatic situation that happened to me, and I didn't even know that like how traumatic it was until I started questioning about life. Like when I turned 18, I was asking like what's going, am I going to kill myself because that's what she did in front of me? Like am I going to be like able to see my son and not think of suicidal things? And it was just like I don't want to die. Like personally, if I could drink an elixir, I will drink it.
Me too, man. I know what you mean.
But
None of us want to die, but there's always some dumb thing in our brain. Well, in my brain that makes me want to. So weird.
yeah,
By the way,
We
Vince,
always say father time wins,
yeah,
so it's
absolutely.
eventually going to happen to all of us. And we just
yeah,
Yeah,
have to learn to accept that.
Artemis isn't on because he's actually in my school right now training the guys while I'm out here talking to you guys. That's why he's not on.
That's fair. I first of all, this is a really great conversation for me. I much like Rob, I recently had a depressive episode. It doesn't sound like mine was as severe as Rob's was, thank God. But I know how everyone feels. You have those moments where
did you
you
fart?
just feel like there's nothing left, and I've been there. I have. I did attempt suicide when I was a kid. Um, Unfortunately, it was not successful, obviously. But it took a lot of therapy and such to get me back together. I did spend time on medication for quite a few years. Um, I'm happy to say that I'm not on anything now, and I'm in a really great place. And
Good.
I am most of the time. But even still, it's just like once you've had it, you can always slip back into it, as I'm sure everybody here knows. And so I always have to be careful, and I try to, make sure I take care of myself as much as possible, emotionally and mentally. I think as men, like you two have said, so often we don't take care of ourselves. We're so busy taking care of everybody else because that's our job as men, and oftentimes we forget to take care of ourselves.
Yeah,
I think another part of it is like we're supposed to be the protector. So like my wife will always ask me what's wrong, and I'm like nothing because I feel like if I tell you what my problem is, then my problem becomes your problem, and you shouldn't have to deal with my problem as your problem. You know what I'm saying? So that's another reason why we as men do this shit, keep it in until something bad happens and we do something stupid,
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I used to tell all the kids, no matter who came through the school, that we're all role models, whether we want to be or not. I mean, because we go out there as performers, as wrestlers, managers, whatever. people look at us in a different light. And like, so when the people look up to us, I think, that puts extra pressure because,
Yeah.
now we have the business side of it, and we have our own personal stuff that we deal with, and it's adding more pressure to what, we do every day, and I think that kind of like, if you're not ready for that burden, you know, or you're not ready for whatever reason, whether you're too immature. A lot of kids growing up, I said this to a lot of guys like on social media, they're out there swearing, they're saying stuff. I go, look, I said, you have fans looking at you guys. I said, they're looking up to you. And I said, you're cussing,
Yeah.
you're listening on social media and hurting yourself, starting
Uh,
fights. I go, they look up to you, so I think first and foremost, all of us, there's so many people that look at us, as heroes or whatever, and just say, so now we got to deal with one side, and then we all nobody knows what our personal side is. I've been fortunate that, I haven't had anything really bad happen, in my lifetime, but I've learned that I've had friends that had issues and problems, and I've, learned through them trying to understand what they're going through, even though I don't know personally, but I can feel, the empathy that I have for guys that are going through stuff. And that's why I believe that, for us, like, I believe that we need to be more open, Yes, we're not supposed to cry. We're supposed to be that strong guy, but at the same time, we're still a human being. We still bleed red. It doesn't matter. We have to put on that face, but there's times that, it gets so overwhelming that we don't know what to do. We have to figure out how to take that and channel it into something that, you can try to find to be able to relieve that, so you don't go crazy, so you don't hear all them voices, or it makes you want to do something bad. And we all go down a different path, and everybody on here has a different road from growing up. So we all can't say that, we all know what everybody's going through, but kind of like as we get older, all the roads kind of come together, and I feel as we all get older, we realize like there's so much that has happened in the past that I feel that, uh, the pressure that we put on ourselves, we need to learn to figure out how to, take it off our shoulders, even though we are men and we're supposed to do that. But we have to relieve that, because if not, it's only going to hurt ourselves. And if we hurt ourselves, that's going to hurt everybody that we love.
yeah. Very
Um,
true.
and I believe that I just talked to at Jason's last show. I was talking to Kevin Bean, and he said it perfectly, because that day we're like, man, everything's going wrong. We have this and we have that and whatnot. All I'm a big believer in God, and he says that's the devil. You're going down the right path. The devil is trying to push you to a different path, because you're not sure yourself. You're not sure if that's the way you want to go, or like you think so many things are going to go wrong. But in reality, it's the devil saying, go down a different path, because that's the path you're supposed to go. So in the end, I believe that we all need to lean on our friends. Whether it's a text, a phone call, a hello. It takes 5 seconds to go, hey, man, how's everything? You doing okay? A check-in, just something to say, hey, you know what? I'm here, because friends get through, people get, when you're in a bind, what are friends for? To help you
Absolutely.
get over that hump, no matter what it is. And I believe all of us here have that power to do that. And there's a lot of people that look up to us to do that. And, so that is more pressure. But in the end, I really think that, we just need to channel everything positively instead of negatively.
Yep. I agree with that. I know I teach my guys what I was taught with Mark and Troy is, my school is our sanctuary. And I've preached this from the beginning of me starting to train. This is where we come to let everything else go in our lives. And we come here, to forget about everything else that's going on in the world and focus on us and focus on being, the best at what at our craft, because, we're not thinking of the world and how everything's going wrong or this and that's happening in our lives, we're at the school and we're training and we're teaching people. So we're doing a different thing that we love to do, and that's why we can come to the schools to get away from the real world and be in our happy place, in our safe place. You know, this is no different than anyone else having a safe place, but ours is actually at a wrestling school. And I learned that from Troy and Mark years ago. And I say that to all my kids, you know, all the time.
I used to say it all the time when I came up to Lewistown. Like, it's my home away from home all the time. You know, when Rob went to school up there, you know, because it's like, yeah, it's 3 hours away, but you know what? I'm in a place, like you said, where it's something what I love to do to help kids out, you know. So yeah, you know, the dungeon is kind of like my second home away from home. It's not my actual home, but it's my second. That was always the third
Yeah.
because, you know, you said it's a place where you can just sit there and go, I don't care what's happening. This
Yep.
is I'm here to enjoy, to learn. I'm teaching, doing whatever, and you know what? Forget about reality because sometimes we need that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like when my brother passed away, everyone was like, "You're training?" I was like, "Well, absolutely, because this is where I come. This is my place." You know what I mean? And then
Yep.
that's how I deal with things is coming here and training. And everyone's like, "When are you going to stop?" If I stop, then that's when it basically that's when the devil wins. Is when I'm done doing what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Is it like where you feel, Rob, that like if you stop, the demons like can get in and win, like almost like, because I know that one of the things that I was identifying with as you were saying that is how, and Mark, is how that training spot, it becomes such a safe place. It really, really does. And I mean, I saw everyone's head shaking. Yes, it's like it's so important to us. It's
Yeah,
like,
this is my church.
yeah.
Like honestly, this is my
Exactly.
church, and it 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 is my safe place. It really is. Like when sometimes when if me and my wife don't fight anymore, but if we would get into a fight, I would come down here and just sit down here. You know what I mean? Like there's been times where I just leave the house and I would just she would know where I was because she knows that this is my safe spot. There's two spots that I go. It's one to a cemetery or two to here. And they're the only two places I go. When I'm very angry or I need to get away from the world, I'll come here, you know. You know, you know, I thank God now that I'm older and wiser, you know, I have these 5 beautiful beings in my life that make everything even better. So,
And that's why I always said too, we have to figure out how to, when we get that way, you know, how do we get to somewhere where we can finally relax? Like for me, I know when I get worked up, headphones go on, I just listen to music and all sorts of different types. I got a playlist and I just hour and a half later, I feel better. I'm like, you know what? I kind of forget about everything. I tune everything out and just, you know, I don't take it on the phone. I just, you know what? I just need time to just enjoy, you know, and that gets me kind of back to where I need to be. We all have to figure out what, you know, what works for us.
right.
Because what works for me may not work for you or anybody else. But in the long run, once you figure that out, it can get a little bit better. And it may take time because, you know, I don't go to the school much anymore, you know, and so I don't get up there a lot and I don't get to a lot of shows. But, you know, of course, like Rob, I got, you know, little ones at home here, nephews that are always running around needing me this and that. So that seeing them, you know, makes me like, oh my God, you know, that makes it better. Like you said, 100% better, you know. And you look at
Absolutely.
them and it's like you just can't like stop smiling because of what you
Yep.
see, you know. So that also helps. So we all have to figure that channel out for all of us, so that way we can get through the really dark times that we have.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I know. When I was away and I wasn't able to kind of escape, you know, and getting back into work and you know, even my boss was like, "You're a different person when you come back. Like you're more yourself." And I'm able to get everything out because I'm not thinking about anything else. I'm at peace.
Yeah.
I'm home. I'm away from all the drama, and I'm surrounded by people that, you know, if I went quiet for too long, which it happens. If I go quiet for too long, somebody's gonna be like, "Hey, what's going on? What you doing?"
Yep.
If I'm at a show and I'm not talking, if I'm not, jumping up to help anybody, like, "Hey, what's going on?" They know something's wrong. They okay, what's up? I'll get pulled to the side, and it'll be, I know you're gonna lie to me and tell me nothing's wrong, but I know something's wrong. So you can either lie to me and tell me nothing's wrong, or just tell me what's going on. And,
Right.
and
Well,
to
if
attest to what
it's you, AJ, we know what's wrong. It's just it's actually a sushi you're
I
to try.
hate you slowly. Understand that. But like now, to kind of help alleviate some of that, like Mark was saying, getting that pressure off you, I've started writing a lot. Whether it's music, it's stories. Like I've gotten, it's getting a lot of that out of my brain. And when I get in a situation now, and when somebody comes to me and they talk to me about something that's going on, I can relate a little better than I hate to admit that I used to in the past, because it's like, hey, I know what you're feeling.
Yeah.
I know what you're feeling. And it's good sometimes to shut up and listen, because letting somebody get that out of them, oh man, it's so helpful.
Yeah. So, last year my dad died around this time of the year, and Rob knows.
Hold on 1 second, guys. I'm sorry to cut you off, Jamal. I just got to make sure. I'm acting like a dad. Ziggy got to go to a second job, and he hasn't left yet.
Oh,
I'll be right back. Give me 1 second.
All right.
Continue, Jamal.
So Rob knows the whole thing that was going on. Like, me and my dad were tight. I was always good with both of my parents. It wasn't no issues. My mom never spoke bad about my dad, and my dad never spoke bad about my mom. It wasn't that type of situation. So and like leading up to it, I knew, like, when I went to go see him, I was like, yeah, he's on his way out the door.
I'm
Because
sorry. Did you guys hear all that?
no.
Okay. Delicious is here too. I didn't even realize he came in.
So leading up to it, like I was talking to Rob, telling them everything. Now Rob's done met my dad and everything, the other side of my family, and he knows, like, how my dad's side of the family was, how tight they were. I was trying to do that, with my brothers and sisters, but I've learned that I can't do that.
Okay.
So
Hold on. Let me get out of this. Let me. Oh, it's fine. Yeah.
so with all that being said, like, my dad died, and it was a Saturday. I found out my dad died, like, in the morning, like 5 in the morning. And I was like, first person I called was Rob. And he was like, so how you feeling? I says, I actually don't know how I'm feeling. Like, because I'm not upset that he's gone, because he ain't in pain no more. But
yeah.
I'm gonna miss my best friend, because, like, I talk to my dad every day. Like, it was like every day. It was Rob, Aunt Cheryl. That was my other best friend, like, and my mom. But, like, I talked to my dad like every day. Like, it had nothing could get in the way of me talking to my dad. Like, I could be at a show,
Yep.
and I'll find a way to leave out of the show just to go talk to my dad, because, like, that's my dad. Like, I grew up, my dad was my hero. Like, everybody, you know, has heroes, but my dad was my hero, because, like, he could play basketball. He was a bad mother, like, I watched my dad whip somebody, while while we were in the car. I watched my dad beat this guy up that attacked him. So, and my dad was just like an awesome person. And he always took care of everybody, which, kind of understanding why I was the way I was with my brothers and sisters. So, and then, like, for me to go down there, and he's like, he's never been a big man, but, like, he was tall. My dad was 6 foot, 6'4", and, like, just to see him the way he was, it was like, hey man, I love you. You know, I want you to know I love you. And he was like, I love you too, Jamal. And the best part of that whole scenario, you know, like, not that my dad was dying, but I have an older brother. Like, I have actually like two older brothers. And so my
The
older
one's name
brother's
is
name,
you. The one's name is you, by the way.
yeah. So my older brother, my dad was like, Jamal, where Leroy at? I was like, Leroy not here. Now my voice is about to change in a second, so like this is how he sounds. He was like, so Pop, what's my name? Tell me my name. He goes, your name you. What do you mean? What do you mean you? Tell me my name. My name. Tell me my name, Pop. He was like, you know what your name is. Why you telling me to tell you your name? And my brother walked out of the hospital room so mad, and like I'm sitting there laughing the whole time in his face, and he's like, he gonna call me some motherfucking you. What you mean you? What he gonna call me you? Man, even at his funeral he was still mad, but he was like, it was funny. I know it was funny, but like he ain't had to disrespect me like that. You know, my brother sound like a country Snoop Dogg. And you know,
Yeah.
it's just my dad. That's how my dad was. Like, so, but like he never really talked about his emotions, and you know, but like he always made sure when he got older and we got older to let us know that he loved us, because he said he don't know how long he got, but he want us to know that he loves us. And the two who he loved the most, I mean, he loved us all equally, but like he wanted to see them. He was like, I really want to see them. So we video called them. My sister, she just couldn't go down. My one sister couldn't go down because she was like, you know how you see a person and you know what they are, and you just can't see them sick or
You want to
anything like
remember them
that.
how they were.
Yeah, and you know, she was crying, saying she can't go, and you know, my younger brother, he just couldn't. He wasn't allowed to go nowhere. So, but like that, there, like how my dad was, is what I learned how to be as a man, and now I know that like that's okay to be that way, but I got to talk to people to make sure that like my mental health is like, it has to be better than what my father's mental health was. You know, because my
Yeah.
dad was 70. My dad was 76, so we already know he wasn't talking about anything. How's your back feel? Ah, it's all right. You know, like stuff like that. Like it's okay.
Heard you broke your foot today, and
I got another one. Well,
yeah,
well, well. Jamal's dad didn't have another one. Sorry, Jamal.
Oh my god! I was about to say something about Jimmy Valiant, but that was better. I was about to, I was about to say, I wonder how much like Jimmy Valiant is like holding in, not telling everybody how he feels, because he's like 90 something years old.
Right.
So, you know, and I wonder, you know, that's a person who you would like sit down, have a conversation with, just to learn um how much a person can hold, because he's like, what is he, Mark, like 93?
He's up there. I know that.
Yeah.
142.
And like you said too, like as we get older, tomorrow's never promised. We all say like, oh, we're still young yet, but in reality, you don't have to be old to die anymore. So it's every day is like, that's why they call it the present, because it's one of them. You wake up and you're like, thank God, and we just have to count our blessings too. Which sometimes it's hard to see because we have so much going on. Like honestly,
Yeah.
I have stuff going on here. Shane sent me the text about the about this tonight. I'm going, shit. I'm like, I forgot all about it, because normally I put it in my calendar because I put everything in my calendar, because if not, I'd forget it, but at least I was home and everything for it. But it's like, you don't know anymore. There's so much uncertainty. Anything can happen to anybody at a given time. Traveling, this, that, anything. So we just got to be thankful for what we have. Because there's a lot of people that have less.
Absolutely.
Hey man, I used to retain a lot of stress. I used to hold a lot of that stuff in, and I like because I was like, it'll get better. It'll get better. And this is funny, having a heart attack and having that happen and not realizing that was happening because I was doing the dumb shit. I would still going to work, still going to training, wrestling at shows. And for 2 weeks, this was going on.
Still moving too fast in the ring.
I mean, but hey, I slowed down though. I slowed down. I couldn't go that fast because it would have done. But like getting out, like going through all that, I realized that my outlook is a lot different. Like everything, like you said, every day is a blessing. Every day, because I could have went home and went to sleep that night and been done. Yeah. And all because I'm being stubborn and I'm not like you said, taking care of myself. I'm not listening to my body. I'm not listening to like the people around me saying you need to get this checked. Because the only thing I was thinking of, like as a man, I got to provide. I got to take care of this. I got to make sure this was going on. I got to make sure my kids are fed. I got to make sure this house is taken care of. I got to make sure that I'm not letting my job down. I got to make sure that I'm ready to go for this weekend to wrestle. I got to make sure I'm doing all these things, but I'm not making sure of the most important thing. I'm not making sure of me, and that's what's changed. Now I make sure of me. I can still do all these things that I want to do. I can still wrestle. I can still work. I could still all be surrounded by the people that I love. But I'm putting myself higher on that list than I've ever had in my life, and it's. Yeah.
Well, we have to because our pride gets in our way. I'll never forget that when I got sick at the end of 2017. Like 18, I just didn't feel right, and I didn't want to go to the doctor because I'm like, hey, who goes to the doctor? I don't want to go to the doctor, And to the point where I had to get medicine. I was on a month of medicine. It didn't work out. Finally took an X-ray. Then they're like, oh, you have a hole in your colon. I'm like, oh, that's wonderful. That's great. And so they tried to fix it and they couldn't. And it was the point where they were like, you're going to have to stay on medicine or you're going to die until you get surgery. So I was on months of medicine till I got my surgery in September of 18. But, it kind of hits everybody differently.
Yeah.
I think the one thing I will point out, AJ, what you said about what you went through with your heart attack, I know one thing I notice as your friend. I noticed that you end a lot more conversations with me with "I love you" than you did before that. That's one of the things that I think a brush with death kind of reminds you of is what really matters. And it's definitely other people in your life and love. That's what really matters for sure.
Yeah, I tell everybody like when I'm done, all right, I love you. I'll see you later. Like and it's weird kind of walking away, especially like as far as I come sometimes. It feels like a homecoming a lot of the time. It feels like a homecoming, and I get so excited the last 45 minutes of that fucking road. I'm like, oh. I'm like a kid going to Disneyland. Because I know I'm ready to see.
I like watching everyone's reactions when you walk through the door. It's like, oh my god, it's really cool. Like when they don't see people for a while. Yeah. Sort of like when I saw Mark the last time I saw Mark, I act like a little boy and I run up to him and give him a great big hug. And, you know what I mean? It's the same thing when they see
AJ.
Haven't seen
anybody for how long? The only thing that we really have is our health. And if you don't take care of that, you can't help anybody else. That's something I really learned. Like, yes, we have to be the big bad protector, this, that, the whole 9 yards. But if we don't take care of ourselves, we're useless to everybody else. Yeah. So we have to take care of ourselves, number one, because if we don't, somebody else will be taking care of us. And then that right away, the ego's like, nope, I don't want any help. I'm too proud to ask. I'm I'm guilty. Like, I don't want to help. You need help. I don't want help, you know? So if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. You know, that's something that I really learned. And
It's
sometimes you
very
just have to ask
important.
for help.
Yeah, it's
Sometimes you just
very
have to
important.
ask for help. You know, you can't, just to the point. There's times I'm like, I can't do something. I need help. You know, I don't like asking because that's not the way I ever was, because I always help somebody else, you know, but there are certain times where you can probably say, you know what? Yeah, I need help. Especially as we
E-
get
Yeah,
older, because there's certain things that we
Everyone
can't
needs
do anymore. You know?
everyone needs to lean on somebody every now and then. You know,
yeah.
we all do. Shane, you're pretty quiet. You just listening?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Shut up, Adrian.
So before we leave, I don't even believe I'm going to admit this, but Jamal had a great idea.
Wait, what? Say that again.
The
Say
great
that again.
idea.
One more time.
I said Jamal had a great idea. He has a
Okay.
great idea.
So 7:53 on 420. He must
Yeah.
be hot. Go ahead.
Yes. So Jamal was saying to me, and he's mentioned it to other people, that we should all like be in this, you know, sort of like we are now, but it should be like maybe once a week or once a month, you know, different people, and just see how, you know, like pop in and say what's up to everyone and just see how they're doing. You know, like Jamal was like, it would be a great idea just to check on everyone, you know, their health, their family, you know, whatever. You know, and I think that's a good idea that we, you know, we all check on each other.
That's a great
You know?
idea.
And it's
Yeah.
called wrestling therapy.
Yeah, it'll be our wrestling therapy, which is cool, you know, because you know there's like I don't trust therapists, you know, and I have my own reasons why, and on another show I'll tell you why. But you know, we trust each other, so that's why we're talking to each other. Like we're not even talking in front of how many people are watching, you know what I mean, or going to be watching. You know, we're just it's like we're having a conversation with each other. So you know, why not check on each other? You know, we're supposed to be this big supposed family, which
Yeah.
I've made everyone that is in my family of wrestling, they are my family.
Yeah.
So why we should check on each other. You know?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. And the
Yes.
network is the network is deep. You know what I mean? Like it's deep. Central PA to parts of Florida, like to New York, New Jersey, like it's deep. So why not have something like that happening? Because
Yeah,
it's not just us, you know, who go through
No.
this. Everybody.
no, I message Toby every once in a while. I'll be like, "Yo, kid, how you doing, son?" You know what I mean? And Toby always calls me Pop, so of course I call him son. You know what I mean? So I mean, I always take everyone, all of the people I've trained as they're my children. I tell my wife that all the time. You know,
Yep. They're all my
of them
kids.
are like, yeah, they're my kids. You know, I don't care how
Kids.
old you are.
I got kids. I got grandkids. You know.
Yeah, I don't care how old anyone gets. They're still my kid because
Yep.
you know I put you guys in my family. I made everyone my family. Like AJ can attest to it. Jamal can. Jim, when my brother passed away, like I used to have a big family. You know, Mexicans breed like rabbits. So we had a big family, and then when the anchors passed away, my grandfather and grandma, they you know, everyone became assholes and they all went their separate ways, and now we barely talk to anyone. I talk to two of my family members on a regular basis, but there was more of my wrestling family at my brother's funeral than my actual family, my blood family.
Yeah.
And I made it a point to say that when I was up
Mhm.
speaking. I made my real family turn around and look at my actual family.
Mhm.
So, and it hit them deep. My one cousin who was on the wagon started drinking that night, and I didn't mean for that, but the guilt in him made him start drinking. He came to my house later on that night, so drunk.
I made
Hold on.
everyone stop crying.
One of my other children are going. Hold on.
I made everyone stop crying that night.
I'll see you.
Everybody was crying. I was like, I don't know why everybody crying.
Right?
reality hits hard, and some people
it
can't
does.
handle reality. If it's the truth, it's the truth. Unfortunately, some people it's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It is. You remember what I said, Rob? That the story I gave. You want to know some real bullshit? Willie is skinnier than me for real now.
But you know what though?
Yeah.
Will was actually sick for a while. That's why Will was thinner than you. But yeah, Will was dealing with some cancer issues, but Will looks a lot better than what he was looking. So
Really, yeah.
I'll
but
never forget.
he's thinner than all of us. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Um. I just I really think that like we do this wrestling therapy, it can save more lives than what we believe is going to save, because there's a lot of us that's messed up and we just don't talk about it.
yeah,
And and we can just be like a anonymous, like no one will know who's there because everyone that's there, um you can't talk about the group. You can't talk about who was
you
in
mean
it.
to other people? Yeah. Well, that's how we are though. Anyway, like I never share what my wife tells people all the time, that I'm like a safe, and like what Jamal tells me or what anyone tells me is between us, and that's just the way I've always been. You come from I had a brother who was was on the wrong side of the law, so you learn at a young age not to speak. So you hold all that in and you keep it all to yourself. So
I believe the term when we were kids, we're not allowed to be a narc. I think
yes, a narc. Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Snitches wind up in ditches, bro.
Yes, exactly.
There was one person who that like we became friends, and and like it just we clicked, all of us. Me, him, Shane. Um, it was Sean in West Virginia,
Oh,
and it was, and he was talented. He
shown.
was Sean was so good, and the problem, he had a lot of stuff going on, and it was, at least if we would have tried, like to, if we would have seen anything, because no one told any, he didn't show any tells of anything, but
Yeah.
like if he would probably be here, and there probably wouldn't be a Leo Rush, or, you know,
There would be, but
Yeah.
Shown was a lot different than most. So
yeah, man. Like it just, like mental health is very important, and and your health in general is like something that we all should work on, like trying to save. Because if we don't save us, who's going to save us?
I'd like to honestly think that if we don't protect ourselves, who's going to protect our families when we're gone?
Right.
So
Yeah.
And I would like to point out that very early in my tenure in wrestling, this community lost a gentleman named Larry Sweeney.
yep.
And Larry was Larry was involved in my first match. And I remember when I heard, I was devastated. He was, and I'm sure everyone that knows him or knew him will agree with me. He was just a tremendous wrestler, just an excellent worker. He really, really was so talented. And I was just devastated when he was gone. So I just want to take a minute, since we're here and we're among wrestlers, and just honor Larry. Larry, we miss you.
Yeah, that was just a couple of days ago was his anniversary, right? Yeah.
Yeah, he was a cool dude. I was on
Yes,
a lot
he
of
was.
shows with him, and just
Why does
yeah.
that name sound
Yeah.
familiar?
Look him up.
Larry,
Once you see him, once you see pictures of him, you'll understand who he was.
yeah, Yeah, you'll know.
Yep, exactly.
I'm not sure if you met him, but you know, if you met him, you knew. You
It's
knew
not
you.
Ray
Yeah.
Velasquez, is it?
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Now Larry was incredible. He really, really was. Um, I, it's so funny when you think back on guys where you know them for such a short period of time, but because we, you know, and for the fans that are watching, you know, we have to trust each other so much with what we do. You get close really, really quick, and
Yeah.
then something like that happens, and you're just sitting there looking at yourself in the mirror, thinking, "Geez, you know, how did I not see it?" You know, you see these people every weekend, you're around them, and you didn't even notice anything was wrong, and it's just, you know, if anybody out there that's just, if you're in a bad place, you know, please know that I know personally, I would much rather take a call from any of you at 3 a.m.
Absolutely.
and be woken up than get a call at 7 a.m. knowing you're gone.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're
Absolutely.
out there and you have issues, please reach out to a loved one. Reach out to, you know, the hotlines that are out there. They're available to you. Shane, I think you have the numbers.
Yeah. The Pennsylvania one's 988, I believe.
Yeah.
Yes,
Why I
it's
looked it up,
988.
but
Yep. Yeah, it's 988. I actually hashtag 988 on every single one of my posts, and when I post something, it's one of my hashtags. But you know, it just we need
We're
to
all in this together. You know, we're all,
absolutely,
you know, we're all part of this, and like, you know, I think it helps us that, you know, if we all take charge and, you know, everybody helps something, you know, it's better than doing nothing. You know,
absolutely.
you sit on your hands and you think, man, I could have, I should have,
Shoulda, coulda,
but now
woulda.
it's too late.
Yeah,
Yeah. But take the initiative to say, you know what? That, like I said earlier, a simple text, a simple call, a simple, hey, you know what? I haven't heard. How you been? How's everything? Just, you
yeah,
know, it's just sometimes that's all it takes. From like, oh man, you know what? Thought about me today. Wow. You know what?
yeah,
That's great. You know, because you know, you go by days like nobody texts you, not gonna hold you, like, yeah, nobody cares about me, you know. I guess I'm a nobody. Then you get that text like, oh, you know what? Somebody must have been thinking about me, you know,
yeah.
and sometimes that's all it takes is to go, hey, you know what? I know I'm loved because you know what? I
That's
just got a
the,
text. I got a phone call.
I
You
will
know,
text people all the time and be like, yo, just was thinking about you. Wanted to say hey. You know, so it's just
Oh
sometimes
yeah.
it's just that it's that first thing that, you know, you make that initiative and then, you know, it can save a lot of people. You know, it's just
absolutely
we don't
I
do enough of it because we're so busy.
um my
always.
favorite my favorite wrestler in SSW is Sheriff Dunk, and and like and,
He's
and
not
we
lying. He's
I'm
always
not
said it.
lying.
This is so funny. I'm sorry, but it's Jamal.
Sheriff Dunk, you know, Cowboy Dunk, Sheriff Dunk. Everybody knows him as that, but you know, his name's Marty,
Yeah.
and so he was going through something or whatever, and I just like, you know, called him. Like I don't really like texting, so I called him, and he was like, "Hey, what's going on?" I was like, "I'm just checking on you, seeing how you doing. I saw your posts and stuff," and he was like, "Oh man, I'm having a little rough patch," and I was on the phone with him for like an hour, like just talking to him, and he's telling me what was going on. And I was like, "Man, I'm sorry to hear that, man." You know, and he was like, "I appreciate you calling, you know, to check up on me." And I was just like, I would expect the same. So, you know, and then he did the same thing back when had said something, and he was like, "Are you all right?" I go, "Yeah, I'm good." I told him what was going on, and he was like, "I really do appreciate you calling me that day." And you know, like all jokes aside, like I really I just he's very entertaining. Like, you know, like he's a very entertaining guy because like I'm talking about the person. Like he's just very entertaining. He's funny when he's not even trying to be funny. Like he just stuff he just says. Like he's a very nice guy.
Yeah, he's very
And
sweet. He's a very sweet man. He really is.
yeah, but he really is my favorite SSW wrestler.
He's always said that. It's so funny.
Yeah. I
When
think
he-
I think one of the most brutal shots I ever saw in the ring was Dunk Took. It was a student show, and I was refereeing, and I heard the guy he was working. I heard him say, "Watch the clothesline," but Dunk didn't hear it, and so Dunk didn't duck, and so he got hit. I mean, he hit him at full speed, and we took the match home because he knocked him out. But I remember when I went down for the 3 count, I saw Dunk wake up and start coughing up blood, and I freaked out. It's the only time I freaked out as a referee. I really thought Sam killed him. I really did. He hit him so hard.
Well, fellas,
Hold up 1 second. Hold up. The most brutal thing I've seen happen was when Hoss picked him up and powerbombed him. And Hoss was a big dude. So when he picked him up and powerbombed him,
Are you
I
talking
was
about
like,
Hawk Leonard?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like, I don't think he's gonna walk after that. But yeah, that dude's tough.
Mm-hmm. He is.
And Shane, you was real quiet today.
yeah,
James is listening.
Taking it in.
You good?
I'm good. It's a Monday.
That's
I'm
right.
good.
It's the Monday after WrestleMania, so Raw should be very good tonight.
Yeah. Oba.
Hopefully, it's better than WrestleMania.
Yesterday wasn't bad.
Yeah, I thought night 2 was okay.
Night 2 was good. Night 2 was good.
Yeah.
Only thing is, are the fans gonna boo CM Punk for hitting that guy's phone out of his hand? Because
Good
you know,
question.
Mm.
that was a little anger.
Well, thank you guys for coming on.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yes.
We don't talk about this enough. That's the
Yeah.
thing. This needs to be more of an issue, not just here, but like I think mainstream, social media wise, it ought to be talked about more.
Yeah, we said about doing this. What did we say? Once a month?
Yeah. Real quick before we get off, I want to give a shout out to Mark Biddle who started the mental health podcast, who's going through some issues himself right now. Mark, we all thinking about you, man. We love you.
Amen,
Brother,
bro.
we love you so much.
Yeah.
Stay strong, brother.
We love you.
Until next week, guys.
Peace.
Later.
Love you guys.
Later.
Love you too.
guys. I love all of you.